Some of these deals are really good for this year and absolute must-buys for the gardener in your life. So I've broken this down into 4 categories: less than $10, less than $30, less than $50, and less than $100. Of course, there are things greater than $100, but if we are in a budget, these are my list of must-have garden grabs. So we're gonna start off at less than $10. So some of these are on the Black Friday sale, meaning that they're less than $10 just for this week-ish. I don't know what they're gonna be after this. I wouldn't expect them to be that much more, but just keep that in mind. So number 1 on the list is reusable Velcro, specific to tying up plants. This actually would work for houseplant people and gardeners alike. And essentially all it is it's a wrap that you can tie your plants up with. I use it in my indoor plant setting. I also use it in outdoor plant settings sometimes. They are reusable and they last ages. It's not a classic Velcro. It's like a less sticky version of Velcro. And the way you get more stick or it being able to hold more weight is just several wraps, I guess you could say, of that. Increases its intensity and its grip. So definitely the reusable Velcro. Next one in that $10 range is the pot up mats. So I have one of these. It's like a darker green one, but essentially anyone who does houseplant stuff, seed starting indoors, repots any sort of plant, this is a must-have for them. It's a very messy job, but having a mat that is easy to wipe down and clean off while repotting is incredibly important. This is flexible, so it's not rigid in any way, which makes it that much more useful in regards to removing the excess soil, because you can actually fold it up or put it into a V to kind of dump the soil back in your bag or whatever the case is. So that one I think is really important. These can also serve as a larger sized basin for your larger sized pots if you have them indoors to catch your water so that it doesn't damage your floors and that sort of thing. So this one is actually kind of cool. It would work best for people who have restricted light or not ideal spaces for their greenhouses, and or people who are growing indoors in a larger space. And that is Mylar film. So this is what you see typically inside of grow tents, for example, but film version of it. So you can get several sheets of this Mylar, which can be used in a grow room, for example, or you can utilize it in a greenhouse to reflect a little bit extra light. You could use it in a plant room if you really wanted to take advantage of your grow lights. It's an awesome alternative for intensifying the light you already have without adding more light. It also allows for just even light distribution lower into the canopy, obviously through the Mylar itself. Okay, less than 30. This is weird because normally I'd say less than 25. But this year, inflation, so less than 30 is the round we're going for. So number 1 is the plant sensor. Maybe I'm being biased here, but this is obviously the plant sensor that I helped to develop with. It's an amazing crew that helped make this. It's by no means done. It's going to increase in its functionality and its uses and all that sort of stuff. This is great for the indoor gardener, along with those of you that have houseplants. So grab that. I do have a discount code in the description. I will remember to post it in the comments as well, but definitely a sensor is a must grab. The next one is a garden planner. So this one, I made one, but you could grab any version of the garden planner. Essentially, it helps you plan your garden, and you could actually start utilizing that here right now pretty quickly because onions and that sort of thing actually do need to be started in December, classically speaking. So you can use this to plan what you need to grow, how much seed you need to buy, what you're going to buy in transplants, where it should be potted, all that sort of stuff. And if you've been collecting the garden planners over time, so over the several years in which we've been running these now, you can look back on your harvests and look at your crop rotations just to really get things in line. My planner comes with a lot of soil testing you can do at home, along with a harvest calculator to help you determine whether or not you should save seed from that plant. I know other planners are a little bit more focused on the actual planning and mapping of the garden. so more grids and that sort of thing. I would encourage you to sort through kind of all the different options, see which ones you like, which ones you don't, that sort of thing. And it'll give you a good idea as to what you're looking for. If you're looking for more of a workbook, that's my department. Mine is a workbook. It's not a book by any means. Someone bought it as a book thinking it was like a readable book. It is a planner. So you are doing a majority of the work in this thing. There is written sections, but 99% of that book it's projects for you to do. And yeah, so just keep that in mind. So next one under 30 is actually propagation stations. You can get so many cute versions of this now. This is great for houseplant people and outdoor growers as well. Plant clippings are very commonly taken for things like coleus or tomatoes, or even willow or lilac that you maybe want to propagate. Indoor plants as well. They make so many cute versions of this, and the price can range for this. So you can get very inexpensive under $10 all the way up to like $50 setups that are very elaborate, very beautiful. So definitely a propagation station is always loved, especially when it has a little bit of extra aesthetic to it. The next one under the $30 mark is a Hori Hori knife. So if you haven't seen these before, these have very commonly been used by soil scientists specifically. So we utilize them for digging soil profiles, cleaning soil profiles off, removing roots from soil profiles that might be in the way. It's a very universal, versatile tool. It seems as though the gardening community is taking it on now, which I'm not going to complain. It is very useful. So it has like a serrated blade on one end to allow you to cut and chop as needed. It has obviously the depth, the measurements on the blade itself, which can be utilized to determine planting depth, that sort of thing. And then there's also just a blade on one end. And again, like I said, we use that in the soil science world to clean off a soil surface, but in a gardening world, you could actually utilize that to maybe separate seedlings or to remove something that you need that for. The serrated edge in the gardening side of the world is what you would use mostly, not so much that straight edge, if that makes sense. And then obviously the depth, the ruler on it is hugely important as well. These things are typically made out of stainless steel. They are incredibly tough knives. I would go with like an authentic Hori Hori, which is what I have linked down below. There are knockoff versions to this that I do not love because they do not have the serrated edge, or they don't have a sharpened blade end. This thing is like a knife, so you need to be careful with it. There's a reason it comes with a sheath to put it in, because it is like literally a weapon. So I would go for something that's a little bit heavier duty. One thing I find with the Hori Hori knives is if it's a plastic handle that's round, the knife, when you go to utilize it, will actually bend through the plastic and pop out. The ones with the flat handles that have like bolts and screws through them, that is the version you want, because that you can put quite a bit of weight on, and the blade actually goes up into the handle all the way into the tip. So there's no bending or breaking or busting of basically the ergonomic holder on it, for lack of a better term. So definitely something to check out. Okay, so this next one is kind of cool. This is a new one for me. There are now official ledges you can purchase all for your windows. So they call them herb growing ledges. I don't know what you would call them. So if you have a south-facing home, or a home that gets a lot of light, and you're in a climate like Canada, or you get lower number of sunlight hours, or the light intensity tends to be kind of damper down in the winter months, and you don't want to use grow lights, this is a very cool alternative. I've done a video on bright and direct, kind of what that all means in regards to houseplants or growing herbs indoors. And in that video, I discussed, to be honest, unless it's like on the windowsill, right up to the window, the chances of burning your plant is next to zero in most climates that watch my videos. Anyways, so that, I would give that a shot. That window suction cup setup is so cool. You could very easily grow in a window without light if you have the window in the right space. So I wouldn't put it on like a north-facing window. I don't think that would work in that case. But if you have a window you know gets a ton of light, ton of intense light, that would definitely be my first choice. Okay, next one up under 30. This could also fall under less than $10 depending on what route you want to take. That is seeds. There's no gardener in your life that will not love seeds. If you're shopping for a houseplant person, you may want to consider getting things like eucalyptus seeds, for example. You can get houseplants or more exotic seeds that would apply to what they want to see out of their garden, that would apply to what they would want to see indoors. So eucalyptus would be one that a houseplant person would love. So I would go for anything heirloom. Usually gardeners enjoy quite a bit. Non-GMO, which there's no chance of you really buying GMO in the gardening world. Trust me, they're too expensive. They don't want to sell them to the general public. And yeah, so figure out what your gardener loves. If you don't know a little bit of everything, you can never go wrong with herbs. You can never go wrong with tomatoes. Those are like the two things that all gardeners love. So definitely seeds are something to grab. So under 50. This is probably the coolest device I've ever seen. It is on a Black Friday sale and it is like $10 off right now, but that is a taper. So an automatic plant tying machine. I've seen these used in other contexts. However, utilizing this for taping up tomatoes to trellises, cucumbers to trellises, this would be so quick and easy. It'd be crazy. It also would be very fun to utilize, to actually use. So all you do is you literally like clip around plants. I want this. So if there's a loved one watching this and they want a Christmas present idea, that is it. Because that is just the coolest thing ever. Like I said, you could use it anywhere that you would need a tag or some sort of looping on the plant. Go for it. If you are into seed saving and you've identified a flower or a fruit for harvesting to save seed from, you can actually mark it off with this thing. It is cool. I love it. I love this thing. I can't remember where I'd seen it used, where I was like, oh, that's so useful. But it wasn't in the context of plants. It was a different context. Anyways, very cool. Okay, other one less than 50 is a seed square. I think I've talked about this one before, but essentially it's a square and all the different colors and marker sizes mean something different that correspond to a different seed. It tells you exactly what your spacing is for your seeds based on the divots it makes. So it's a very quick, effective way to do square foot gardening. It's also a quick, effective way to mark out where you would want to do transplants, that sort of thing. So definitely something to look at. That one is pretty cool for a beginner gardener. And honestly, as someone who's gardened for a while, it feels like a cool device to have. Okay, I have two things I absolutely must add to the list of under 50, and that is a good pair of boots. Now, ideally waterproof boots, so muck boots. This is a great example of it. These are these are ankle biter ones, but you could get like full-blown boots. Gardeners love this. The other one is a seed saving kit. Now, I found this while I was editing on the Black Friday sale. I would love this thing. It is so cool. It has a little pouch to put your seeds in. It has a pouch, like individual seed saving cases for labeling, you name it. This would be so neat to have on, like in your hobbyist collection anyways. So these are two that are under the 50 that would definitely be awesome. So things that are under 100 or around that $100 mark would include grow lights. So you can get a number of different grow lights. Don't go for the blur bulb, just go for like a full spectrum. Your plant person will appreciate that. That would be one option. You could also go with planters. So you can get like the stainless steel planters. You can get cheap ones. You could also get like Vigo, for example. So Vigo would be another one you could grab. They have Black Friday sales. You can get like so many different versions of this, but any sort of planter would work. And again, you can get these for relatively cheap, depending obviously on the size that you want. I have a Vigo bed I need to set up. Unfortunately, it's snowed and it's very cold, and it's just not ideal right now to set up beds, obviously in Canada. But I want to set up one. I want to show you kind of what you would do if you were to set up a bed late in the year to get it through the winter. And some things you can do proactively to kind of it puts you in the right spot for spring in regards to getting things done, because the longer a bed sits and settles, the better. And so right now is a really great time to get those set up. So Vigo has them. Like I said, you could go with containers, anything like that, matching planter sets, that sort of thing. If you have someone that wants to like dip their toes into the world of hydroponics or aquaponics, you could get those grow systems. So you could get containers if you know they have grow lights, or you could get like the whole kits that grow herbs. They like the Arrow Gardens, but a cheaper version of it. They're all the same. They just move water around. None of them are particularly special. So you could go that route as well. That'd be a really nice gift for houseplant people, as well as garden people would enjoy that one. So this one is the last one. It's on the cusp of 100. It's like literally just over 50. It should have fallen in the $50 mark. And again, you can buy these on a spectrum. You can buy really heavy duty ones or relatively cheap ones, and that is the benches. So there's garden benches you can get for kneeling, sitting, you name it, and it's very comfortable for anyone who has mobility issues, as well as anyone who does a lot of gardening. I think it would personally be nice to have something to sit on and utilize. So this would work for that case. You can get ones that come with gloves and bags and all the utensils, like the tools that you need to garden with, shears, you name it. Or you can get ones that just have the bench. They're rated for quite high in poundage. Like the minimum I've seen is like 250 pounds. So they're quite large. You can get even bigger ones than that, you name it. So that is one that I think is really cool that can be utilized just to kind of take the weight off, if you know what I mean. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that comment section down below for your garden ideas for gardeners out there, or people who are shopping for gardeners. I'm sure they'd love to hear them, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.